Today, I wanted to talk about what's going on in Bangladesh. Last few days, we have seen that a university professor was killed just literally shy of 1.5 weeks ago. Um, we used to know that only atheists are under attack by Islamists purely because of um, anti-Islamic rant or defaming the Prophet. That statement is no longer valid because we have seen people who got killed not because of what they said about Islam, but their actions, their secular cultural actions that are, in Islamic term, contradictory to Islam. The professor, he was a Rajshahi University professor, not in the capital, just outside. And he was famous among his students for organizing cultural activities, film appreciation events. And he used to play a classical instrument himself. Very cultural person, very nice person. And there is no evidence of him even talking about Islam or any religion for that matter. Yet, he was killed brutally, the same way atheists have been killed. An Islamic State has taken responsibility, proudly saying that this person apparently has been known for inviting students towards atheism. I don't know how, by organizing cultural events, music events, film appreciation events, or playing an instrument and playing music can be against Islam or inviting people towards atheism. But if we think for a second, everything that atheists talk about is not because of a religion, but because of humanity. A human value in an individual is that what makes him human. Obviously, a human being is careful and caring about other human beings, but also that individual loves music, loves culture, loves poetry, loves creativity. And if that person is sharing and inviting others towards cultural activism, somehow that goes against Islam. And that proves what the atheists were talking about from the very beginning. Because religion, these days, mostly Islam, has damaged humanity by professing darkness, by professing a life that is so dry, that has no element of culture in it, and that doesn't make people loving. And that's what Islamic State, the barbarians of Islamic State, the barbarians of Saudi Arabia are worried about. That people living their own life, a cultural, fulfilling life, and they are attacking us. And the reason I'm saying these things in English, you may wonder, people from Bangladesh, Bengali people, third world poor people getting stampeded by Islam. Why do we care? We, as in people who live a more prosperous, healthy life in the West. The reason I'm saying all this because the Islam that we know now, the Islam that has more power than anybody else, it might eventually end up on your doorstep. And this is not fear-mongering, this is a reality. And this evidence of Islamic State taking an interest in a university professor in remote Bangladesh and killing him just because he professed music, film, and love altogether, has made Islamic State quite vulnerable. And that's what makes those organized religion vulnerable from humanity, is our love for people, for culture, for literature, because that's what makes us imagine things that are not necessarily godly. Islamic State wants us to forget about life and worry about death and afterlife only. Both are kind of imaginary. If death is to come, death will come. No one can avoid it. But imagining about afterlife, nobody has shown us any evidence that it actually exists, let alone heaven and hell and this concept of this omnipotent concept of God. Those are all make-believe. Those are all made-up fictitious stories that young people are now indoctrinated to believe and then kill for. Our rebuttal against all this is carry on doing your business, carry on playing music, live your life, and be wary of those barbarians of Islamic State, of Saudi Arabia, of Qatar, or anybody who professes that religion should dominate individuals' life completely. Islam claims that it is a complete code of life. Religion cannot be a complete code of life. There is no such thing as a code of life. Life is full of so many different things. Life is full of work. Life is full of culture. Life is full of love. There may be a role of religion if somebody is weak enough to worry about what happens after death, or who's not have enough scientific or logical foundation that can look into things that he can't explain or she can't explain and worry that this might be a hand of God. But a general human being, a good person, should not be worried about those things. He should be worried about living his life full. The professor who was killed, he was living his life full. He was not worried about religion. He was not professing or condemning religion. He was just doing about his own business. Music, film, teaching, yet he was killed. I want you to think about that for a moment. Arifur Rahman from London. Thank you.